Black on black crime is something that our media tells us that we're not allowed to talk about. Over 93% of black homicide victims are killed by other black people. But we are not supposed to be outraged, and we're not told to remember the names of those victims. Because if we begin to focus on that area, something that is causing real harm and devastation to our communities, we might uncover the truth. And the truth is that this is all by Democrat design. Our inner cities are all by Democrat design. Like Chicago, like Baltimore, and like Detroit, they have been run by Democrats for decades. We have been made to believe that the conditions in our cities are normal. We're supposed to turn a blind eye to the corruption, to the crime, to the gangs, and instead focus on what our media deems of more importance. We are instead told that we should be focusing on white people. We're supposed to be reactive and angry and fearful about white supremacy, when in fact, it is liberal supremacy that is harming our communities. I say this all the time. You show me a neighborhood where there are liberal policies that reign supreme, and I will show you a neighborhood where black Americans are struggling in this country. It is, in my opinion, both socially and morally suicidal that we continue this pattern. Democrats have looked at us in the face and they have sold us worthlessness. They have told us that we cannot, that we need more government assistance, more handouts. We handed them power, and in return, they further diminished our sense of pride, the most important thing that we had, our sense of pride. We allowed their government to victimize us through the expansion of welfare policies. We allowed them, most importantly, to remove the fathers from our homes, removing the backbone of our families. They knew, the Democrats knew, that without stable households, our children would pursue that paternity elsewhere. They knew that our children would run to the streets. They knew that our youth would grow up and begin to mirror themselves after rappers and basketball players rather than men of high intellect and values and more attainable goals. When you wake up as a black American and you realize the truth and you have the courage to speak out about it, the racist leftist media will attack you. CNN is a racist network, in my opinion. I've watched them over the past year sanction the violence of Antifa against black conservatives. They have referred to all of us last year in this same exact room. CNN referred to all of us as paid puppets. They said we were paid to be in this room because they cannot fathom that we would ever have the courage to stand up and to tell them no more. No more victim narrative, CNN. No more victim narrative, MSNBC. No more telling us that we cannot do something because of the color of our skin. No more fear politics. No more attempts to scare us into voting for you. No more lies, no more half-truths. It was Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, in 1991 who warned us against what the Democrats and the media would do to black people like us. This is what he said, quote, "This is a circus. It's a national disgrace, and from my standpoint as a black American, it is a high-tech lynching for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves, to do for themselves, to have different ideas, and it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, this is what will happen to you. You will be lynched, you will be destroyed, you will be caricatured, rather than hung from a tree." How right was Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas in the treatment of black Americans today? It is a national disgrace.